Win one for the good guys. Amy Nelson is here. She is the founder of the Riveter, Riveter.com. She's also been on our show multiple times. She was on our government's completely out of control lookout show. She was not somebody who I'm going to get it right. Amy, you're not you weren't a fan of me or anything before, right?
It wasn't that I wasn't a fan of you. It's that I had been, a Democrat for my entire life and very active in progressive politics.
Okay, so you hated me. That's what you were saying.
I did not.
So I just wanted to throw that in because we're strange bedfellows, and I think more and more people need to find themselves with strange bedfellows because if we have the Bill of Rights in common, we can be friends with anybody. That's the way America used to get along. We believed in individual rights in the Bill of Rights. So, Amy, your husband was accused by Amazon of a whole bunch of crimes, and the DOJ came into your life and destroyed your life. Can you give me like a 30, 40-second rundown of what happened?
Yeah, my husband worked for Amazon Web Services, which is the cloud computing division of Amazon, for 8 years. He worked sourcing real estate. A year after he left, Amazon accused him of a crime, and we learned of that because the FBI knocked on our door. My husband then spent 3 years fighting these allegations. The allegation is this esoteric crime called private sector honest services fraud, which is a process crime like witness tampering. And over the course of 3 years, Amazon had the government seize all of our bank accounts. The FBI raided our home, and then they sued my husband in the Eastern District of Virginia.
It's funny, is Virginia, seeing that, isn't Amazon a Seattle-based company, or did they move out to Virginia? Is that why?
Well, Amazon is a Seattle-based company, and my husband lived and worked in Seattle, but Amazon chose Northern Virginia as its second headquarters. Jeff Bezos bought the newspaper there. He is trying to buy the football team there, and he is very close to the government.
So you alleged when you came on that none of these things were true, and we believed you. None of these things were true, and that Bezos was using the government to crucify and prosecute your husband so they didn't have to pay a $100 million fine on another unrelated topic, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So last time I spoke to you, you said it was finally going to trial, but it was a civil suit because the Justice Department never brought any charges.
That is correct. And the civil trial was scheduled to start on May 1st, just in a few weeks.
Okay. And what has happened?
Something really extraordinary happened, Glenn. Last week, the federal judge issued an order tossing out almost all of Amazon's claims before trial, essentially saying these claims aren't even strong enough to warrant a jury trial. We can throw them out today. The judge said that my husband didn't even violate his Amazon employment contract. He said there was no fraud. He tossed out Amazon's sensational racketeering claim, which was Amazon essentially stepping into the shoes of DOJ and trying to prove a crime. And, the federal judge said these aren't even strong enough to merit a trial.
Wow. That is a huge loss for them. He tossed out 6 out of the 7. What did he leave?
He left a claim that is called civil conspiracy to tortiously interfere with a contract. And it's a little bit confusing because it's a question of, can Amazon prove that there was a conspiracy for a bunch of people to interfere with my husband's employment contract? But again, the judge held my husband didn't violate his employment contract, so we're still trying to kind of work through what that would mean.
Okay. And so there's no jail time. Maybe there would be a fine. But this is a huge win, kind of, because if you have this tossed out of court, how did Amazon get the DOJ to persecute you guys for what, 2 years, 2.5 years?
Three.
3 years.
3 years. Yeah. So, Glenn, I think that the there's a lot of things at play here. It is a huge win, and we'll have to see if Amazon even decides to go to trial to try to prove that last claim. But I think, like, I've been sitting here with this for a few days, and it's just, Amazon is too big. They have too much money, and they're far too close to the government. Like, if a company can go and spend millions of dollars trying to lobby the federal government to bring criminal charges, to ask for civil forfeiture, to deprive Americans of their bank accounts, and then just delay and enforce an American employee to spend millions of dollars essentially proving that he didn't break his employment contract, that company is too big. Like, that is not how this can work. Amazon employs over 1 million Americans. This is frightening.
Well, it's not just 1 million Americans. They have all kinds of people from the Department of Justice and other three-letter agencies that is truly frightening because they're providing the cloud servers for the U.S. government and for all of these agencies. That's a lot of power.
Yeah, I mean, I think that most Americans don't understand that Amazon stores the secrets of the FBI, the NSA, the CIA, everybody. And so, of course, when they go to these agencies and ask for something, like, the bias is that the agencies will believe them. I mean, they want to, right? Like, we entrust Jeff Bezos with our national secrets, full stop. And I think that's pretty terrifying, particularly when, I mean, look, I don't know, Glenn, how to frame it otherwise, but, like, it seems like Bezos is a modern-day robber baron. I mean, he's now out there using the courts to try to imprison his employees when they're not even liable for breaching an employment contract.
And also what bothers me in this story is the use of civil asset forfeiture. When the government can come in and just take people's assets, remember it was Jamie Dimon from J.P. Morgan Chase that last week in his shareholder meeting said, we need to start seizing farms because we need to rapidly grow wind and solar energy, and we can't get enough farmland, so we just need to start seizing it. Ford is seizing all of these farms down south, they announced over the weekend. The civil asset forfeiture, when they can just take things and they don't have to return it, even if you're not guilty, they don't have to do anything. Did you ever get an apology for all of that?
No, Glenn. In fact, we had to agree not to sue the government in order to get our money back.
That's crazy. That is just crazy.
Well, and they can do it secretly. Like, we've still never seen the affidavits that were the basis of seizing the money. Like, we don't even know what Amazon told the government to get them to take that money. But I do know that the federal judge in this lawsuit that he just tossed out all these cases said that Amazon had misrepresented that there were damages. There were no damages. They misrepresented their code of conduct and what it said. Like, they've made all these misrepresentations. So did the government take our money based on those misrepresentations? And who gets held accountable for this?
Nobody.
You know, it is nobody, right? And if they're going to go and start taking American farmland because they want to, they'll just find a way, right? I think that powerful people, powerful entities, powerful corporations and banks can really manipulate the law the way they want to.
So you walk away at this point pretty happy.
I mean, I do, but I have to say, like, I'm still afraid that Amazon and its CEO, Andy Jassy, might go back to DOJ and say, please go do what we couldn't do, get these people.
But how? On what?
I don't know, but Glenn, how did they do this for the past 3 years? Right? Like, I don't know. I think
this is no way. This is no way for an American to live. When you are afraid of the government, when you have done no wrong, because they're in bed with a corporation that needs the trouble pinned on somebody else. That is terrifying. That's not America.
It's really not. And I'm, still afraid the FBI is going to come knock on my door and try to take my husband away from our 4 daughters. And there's so many things about this, right? Because I think, Glenn, to your point at the beginning, we have the Bill of Rights, and that's what should unite us. And I think we are in this constant fight between Democrats and Republicans about smaller issues.
Yep.
When you look up, corporations are really, because of many reasons, able to direct politicians of all stripes and all colors, right, of what to do and how to act. And I think that it is truly terrifying to me that somehow progressives are now these massive supporters of the FBI.
It's
when you look back,
go ahead.
Years ago, when you look back 5, 10, 15 years ago, the Democrats are out there screaming about the FBI's overreach and spying on citizens. And now I think because, Democrats feel like the FBI will go after Trump for them, that they're the good guys.
It's really amazing to me that, I was listening to you talk about, these big businesses and the FBI right before you brought this up. And I thought, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would have been thinking right now, oh, geez, this is not going to fly well with the audience because you'll sound too progressive. Now, you don't sound like a progressive at all. You sound like a conservative. It's so bizarre.
It's a strange world. And I find myself out there talking to my progressive friends about this all the time now. And I really feel like Americans of all political persuasions are being distracted.
Oh, yeah.
To forget our freedoms.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And it's terrifying because our freedoms really matter. They really do.
Amy, thank you so much. Tell us what happens. Keep us up to speed when you get that last one cleared up. And my best to you and your family and the kids.
Thanks for telling our story, Glenn.
You bet. Amy Nelson. She's from TheRiveter.com. It's an amazing American horror story.